Alright, we'll begin started in just a minute or two here. We got Corrupting Animal Crossing. Alright, we'll get started here. Let's swap scenes. And again, we're going to be doing a GameCube game. Oh, what's that on my screen? Chat is ready to display messages. Well, I hope so. We have the same format for the GameCube like we had last night. And I figured out sort of what was going on with the save state issue I had. And I was able to replicate the previous corruptions I had created for the stockpile. So those are, for the most part, saved. And I went ahead and uploaded that. However, downloading that stockpile and running it with the save state I provided, that's not going to be a fun time. So please have prior experience for GameCube corruptions if you want to go about that and grabbing the stockpile. I don't think I'd be able to walk anyone through that. But we'll get started here with Animal Crossing. I have the game load up here, and I probably have to have... Oh, there we go. Turn that down a bit. There we go. And I'm feeling I got a couple different places I could corrupt. I want to do it right on the intro train scene where the guy's walking towards you and you have a lot to look at. So we'll do it there. Let's go through the KK slider bit first. This has been great for kids to read. And they're like, especially if they're just moving out or something like that. Like, this would be a good, like, present for a kid. Like, 16, 17. Save state here. Oh, and we're ready with save state. So I'm gonna pause it here just to explain something. So as far as I know, at least for each stockpile, you must have a singular save state that is frozen in time, your save state, that has to be associated with that specific stockpile. So if I was to upload that stockpile, like the created one here, or the Luigi's Mansion, I also have to provide that save state along with it. Not exactly sure why. I'm sure it probably has something to do with how the ROM is loaded, where the system decides to put certain assets or objects, and that can depend on the save state. So to put it simply, we're only going to be able to work with one save state at a time per stockpile. And I have to ensure I don't overwrite that save state, or else all the corruptions we created during that time will be lost. So I will not touch save state 1, is what I need to keep in my head. So we'll be messing with this part here, the train intro sequence where the guy talks to you. On the left side of the screen there, we have the Windows glitch harvester, a little bit different than the glitch harvester that we normally see with the real-time corruptor. It's most of the same parameters though. We have an intensity reader, which will give us the intensity of the corruption we apply. You can't see it, but we only have 2 corruption engines available to us, the vector engine and the nightmare engine. I'm going to mostly be working with the vector engine because it crashes less and still produces interesting results regardless. Right below that, we have the stockpile manager. That will be our end results. When we have a corruption that we like, we throw it on the stockpile. And all the way at the bottom, we have blast target, just so you can see when I throw a new corruption in the mix. So with all that being said, let me make sure this all works all right. Also, I'm curious why the chat box hasn't disappeared yet. I have to send a test message. Here. Test. There we go. That cleared up. I should be doing that at the beginning of every stream now. So let's see if this works. So I gotta make sure this is playing. And that is so loud for me. Let me turn that down on my end. That's better. And we'll do just a fairly low starting address. Fairly low intensity. I just want to make sure everything works alright. Or if we blast a target, it will load the save state properly. And right off the bat, we already got great results. So we got a blacked out train. This guy's coming from the void, Twilight Zone. I don't know how the rest of these corruptions are gonna look, so for the time being I'm gonna keep hitting it a couple times, look at what we have to work with, and maybe I'll throw this on the stockpile if I like it. Not too much there. Kill. Now it's an awful audio corruption. I have another visual in here. I can't tell if I like this one a little bit better though. You can see out the window, which is nice. I ran into this problem yesterday where I couldn't figure out how I would load a corruption. This is how I load a corruption, alright. So I have to open the corruption, the blast editor. Or perhaps I can inject it. Let's try injecting it. So if I inject this one. Yeah, so that's how I'm gonna load different corruptions. Between these two, while I like the first one better aesthetically, I know the bottom one looks a little bit better visually. It has more interesting components to it, and for that reason I'll throw that on the stockpile manager, on the stockpile. But before we do so, we must sanitize the corruptions. Always sanitize the corruptions. So we're gonna go through here and remove some of the unnecessary bits off of the stockpile, just until we have the core corruption component that we want. And since we're not doing a very high intensity, we don't have a lot here. So we quickly go through this and remove the unnecessary bits, chopping off the fat. And just like that, we have a singular instruction that is creating this effect, and we have our first corruption of the evening. Send that to our stash, which will now appear in our stash history over here. And from there, we can throw it onto our stockpile using an arrow key that you guys can't see, and we have to name it something, so we'll call it Twilight Zone. An amazing first corruption, but definitely a simple first corruption. And from there, we can only hope to get better. So that is our baseline. Of course, this entire stream we're going to be mostly going for visual corruptions, and since we don't have a lot of mechanics we can mess with right now. Ooh, that's a good one. We don't have a lot of mechanical right now. We have the text box, and later we'll have to enter our name. Those are the only two mechanical ones I can imagine. This kind of looks like Batman, so let's name it after Batman. So we'll open this new one in the Blast Editor, so we can sanitize our corruption. And with a fairly low intensity, I'm pretty happy with the results we're having so far, which means we don't have to spend a long time sanitizing the corruptions, because we don't have so many memory writes. And we're also not very crash heavy either. One of the reasons, if you haven't heard it a million times already, the reason why we sanitize our corruptions is because it improves stability in the end. So if someone, for some reason, wanted to go on and play the rest of this game just with this one corruption on it, they can feel free, hopefully. And there we go. We have our single instruction that creates this effect. It is this one right here. And I'm curious if this text box problem stays in the game. Yeah, so the text box corruption that's happening here is tied to the face corruption, so we can't separate the two. Yeah, that's okay with me. So let's send this to our stash. And we'll call this Villager Meets Batman. Now, from our stockpile manager, we can re-roll some of these corruptions. And what I mean by re-roll is if we open one of these in the Blast Editor. Well, it's a little hard to read. This is specifically sending some memory to a source address. And that source address will stay the same if we re-roll it. However, we can send different values to that same source address to see if we get different effects from it. So we're going to give that a go here by re-roll plus inject, which will re-roll the corruption and re-inject it with the new corruption. So here we do actually notice some stuff that happened from re-rolling it. His mouth is gone in this case. In this case, more of his face is fucked up. Batman again. That's more Batman. No, a variety of stuff like that. However, nothing I want to keep in this case. However, sometimes you can get much better rerolls that you might want to keep instead. Like, maybe if I wanted the text box to stay, I might keep this corruption and still have a little bit of text box to work with. I'm also going to re-roll that Twilight Zone one, just curious if there is anything else that can come from it. It doesn't appear so. We'll leave that one be. Alright, so we're going to move on and some new corruptions. I said it's just the audio one. All the audio is it split? Wait. I'm trying to pull out my headphones. I think half of the audio is split to the other ear. Huh. Anyways, neat sounding. We'll probably get some music corruptions here too. We'll work with those in a bit. Since we're looking for visual corruptions right now, we can just really go through this quickly. All we have to do is make sure he turns around, and if he looks normal, then we'll call it there, and we'll move on to the next one. And with such a low intensity, it doesn't take a long time to queue up the next corruption. Ooh. It doesn't take a long time to queue up the next corruption. I don't know this guy's name. It's Rover. Okay. So we can say something like Rover's neck is broken. That'd be an interesting one. Maybe Rover escapes from the asylum. What do I like better? I like asylum better. So we'll open this in the Blast Editor. And we'll make sure we disable the unnecessary bits to keep corruption as stable as possible. I'll just quickly go through this now. I usually explain it the first couple times, and then from there we can just kind of run through it without having to explain it. One thing you pay attention to is if I don't, like, I have these corruptions selected here, you can kind of see the small X's for the ones that are selected, like this one, up here. If I notice that the corruption isn't in the first half that's been selected, you can invert the ones that are disabled and see if it's in the other half of the corruptions. In this case it is, so then we can remove that first half. So that's your idea of going through it. If it's a visual corruption, it's real quick to see. It's not in this first part, so I want to invert it and load it again just to make sure it's in the other half, and it is, so then we can remove. Then you just kind of systematically go through this. We're going over a single instruction, send it to the stash, and from the stash throw it on the stockpile. We'll call it River Escapes the Asylum. I like that name. And from there we can reroll this corruption. If we get anything else out of it. I don't like this one as much, only because of how over the top it is. I like where he's just, you know, only freaking out on like one axis. Here it just looks bad. Alright, with that, I think we're gonna move on. We'll blast some new corruptions. Man, that's a visual one. This is shirt. Oh, this reminds me of what's that game? The Grim Fandango? Yeah. I think I'm gonna name this after that. Just that, like, pure. Well, let me take a screenshot of it. I was gonna say simple in style, but it's not necessarily simple. It's kind of complex. It's a good game, by the way, if you haven't checked that out. Grim Fandango. Yeah, well, why not? We can name it after that. You can have inspiration, even if most people don't understand it. So I ran into this issue before. Also, it shows my Dwarf Fortress kind of text behind this, or no, it writes over my Dwarf Fortress background. I have a block of text that's from Dwarf Fortress that says he didn't feel anything when he saw the gnome die, when he saw the goblin die, etc., etc. I occasionally run into this weird issue with the Windows Glitch Harvester where it does that. Some of the windows kind of get all wonky. Not entirely sure what it is, but in this case I just have to reload it, so that's alright. I am not worried about it. Alright, and from here we're gonna disable some of these corruptions. It's a cool effect, I like it. It's just, it's very minimal. And also the text box is broken, which I like. There's just no text. I believe, right? Yeah. I hope people would understand that. What I'm gonna do by the naming convention now. Okay, let me see more screenshots of Grim. There you go, just to be sure. Maybe I'm thinking of a game. No, I think I am thinking of a different game. What the hell game am I thinking of? Shoot, I'd be here all day if I'm looking for it. A simple art style, like, shoot. But we'll call this barcode instead. How about that? I would say Hitman, but that joke's gonna go over people's heads. I like barcode because his face looks like a barcode. This, head to the stash, from the stash on the stockpile, and we'll call it. That wrong? It's alright. Call it barcode. like thinking of names ahead of time because that makes the naming process a lot easier. I wasn't doing that before. Alright, let's continue along. Ah, kind of cool auditorium. I dig it. We'll leave it be though. I like it. Okay, I need to know this monster's name. I'm getting clever with the names today, at least. It's a monster from Silent Hill with the legs on its head. I gotta know the names of these things. Oh, it's Mannequin. Okay. I would have thought I would have had a nicer name than that. I guess I wrote Mannequin legs. That's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. Okay. So we are going to open this in the Blast Editor. I'm getting really lucky with these corruptions. It's either I'm getting lucky or it's very easy to corrupt. But either way, very happy about the results so far. Okay, cool. We have our single instruction. Send it to the stash, and from the stash, throw it all in the stockpile. And I'm gonna keep doing it in that order because I like the train of thought there. We'll call this Silent Hill Mannequin. Cool. And we'll try rerolling that corruption. That's some big boys. I've affected this before. Now, looks like it's flipped. Yeah, a second. Nope, keep walking. I'm curious what this looks like when it sits down. He's too big. I feel like I can keep this too, right? What's that, like, big head mod in the old GoldenEye? Big head... GoldenEye? Yeah, it is. Okay, we'll name it after that. Sure, we can just throw it right in the stockpile. Advantage of rerolling corruptions is you don't have to worry about opening them in the Blast Editor again. Okay. We're gonna re-roll the Mannequin one again. This one just glides. He's a big walking sound. Glides towards you, Jesus. Big heads. Bigger heads. Lines. Lines. That's good. Let's try barcode. I didn't try rerolling that. That sounds like a nice, like, suede? Oh. There's a nice texture to it. He has like a piano face. Nice, we keep moving that. This is even more like minimalistic. Oh, I love this look to it. I want to say it's like, well, I don't want to say Roblox because I hate that company. Did terrible things to my account. But it has that like blocky look to it. So Lego, I should say Lego. I also really like the tiny terminal. Can I click those? I can. Look at that really tiny terminal. Let's try rerolling a couple more sometimes. I like this. The cool looks outside. Messing with his face, but I'm not seeing any like actual facial expressions. There's one. Oh, and okay, he has multiple faces in this. I would let's keep rolling this. Robocop. Oh, that last one was what I was looking for. Let's pull that up. There's those faces. I want multiple faces. Okay, we'll keep that. It's not two-face, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two-face times 3. 6-face. Yeah, there we go. Two-face times 3. Alright, we'll keep moving on. Nothing in that one. We're getting pretty lucky with these. I'm happy with the results. Go back one. I want to hear what that sound was. It's kind of disappearing in this one. Oh! Alright, it's death. God. Alright. I got one similar to this earlier, so we'll leave that one be. I'm gonna, can't see it, but on the vector engine, I'm gonna improve my limiter list to include more values. It's our first crash of the evening, which we got a good like probably 100 corruptions out of that, so I am not complaining for sure. Also, my audio is quieter. Alright, it seems our luck has run out, unfortunately. We're gonna try upping the intensity a bit. We do have a fairly low intensity, so we'll double that. Oh god. So many sounds. This one got locked out. Let's teleport through it. What's his name again? Rover. Well, yeah, we can keep this one. We'll say Rover doesn't know how to use a door. So open this in the blast editor, and we'll disable half the values to see if we can keep the corruption intact while making it more stable, like this. We have a lot of excess writes to memory, which we don't necessarily need, so we'll sort of trim the fat off. I don't know if I would let the guy who doesn't know how to use a door sit next to me. Or does any of this. That would make me uncomfortable. Alright, we'll throw this in the stockpile. And we'll call it Rubber doesn't know. Can I shorten this? Doesn't know. Doesn't doors. How be lowercase? That should be lowercase. Okay. Well, we got that. We will re-roll now. It's sort of like, oh, look at a blink. I'll call this Rover's eyes are dry. Stop. Oh, it makes you uncomfortable. We'll re-roll. Oh, he's still doing it. Oh, he has a weird. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go back one. Oh, this one he doesn't even blink. But I want to go back one. What was inject on select? There we go. Look at the guy in the back. What is his eyes doing? Oh, this is perfect for Halloween. Okay, I think we've exhausted this this source address. But God, was that funny. We'll clear history here and blast some more. Okay, not too many here. We may want up the intensity a little bit more. I was very happy with the results on that last corruption though, so I'm hoping to get lucky with this one. An auditory one there. Ah, I got some spin! Lots of sort of like, what would you call that, like a nightmare train? Or train? Lots of those coming up. No, this one's just pitch black. Okay, well let's try clean our intensity. I don't want to mess with the starting address yet, because we might have got really lucky with that starting address and we're getting some amazing corruptions. But we'll double our intensity once again. And a lot of visual bug. That's much of that. Yeah, I don't like it. Oh, I was gonna say, it was just 2 lines, but he came back to Earth. From the heavens. There he goes again. We're using a higher intensity, so we're going to have a little bit of wait time in between each corruption. That should be alright. Gives us time to look at the new one for a couple seconds, see if we miss anything. It's kind of cool. That looks like the light turned on. Like that. I think it looks shifted in this one. Train had an earthquake. Alright, I think we have to change our starting address, sadly. I'm sad about that. We'll knock the intensity down, because I like quicker corruptions. 15,000, 15... 152,000 is alright. Let's try some lower starting addresses. That's at least for Luigi's Mansion. The lower I went, hey baby Blue Ford, how you doing? The lower I went, the more I was prone to crashes. Hopefully that's not the case with Animal Crossing. Yeah, we're doing Animal Crossing corruptions, and they've been going very well. Let me do a quick rundown of the stockpile so far. So we have Twilight Zone, really dark train. That was the first corruption of the evening. Usually not too interesting, but just to get something on the board. I know, I've been busy too. So this week, or this month, I'm almost back from my winter break, which I'm happy about. We have Villager meets Batman, because what's this guy's name? Rover. Rover looks like Batman to me here. We have Rover escapes the asylum. And barcode. Try to get better at naming. I'm getting there slowly but surely. We have the Silent Hill mannequin, which the legs like sticking up in the air kind of look like that to me. I don't know if you've ever played that, but. And we have GoldenEye Big Head. I was wondering about that. I might need to re-roll this one. Silent Hill mannequin, GoldenEye Big Head. Okay. So let's re-roll that. Ooh, that last one was interesting. What was that? Looks like a small cat. But it has extra high gravity. I think Mars gravity. Mars has high gravity. Call it that though. Mars gravity. I gotta keep rolling. This one though. Had like a big character model going on. Let's see if I can get that again. Ooh, unhittable exception. Shh. Nary. So we will take this one out. Yes. But Mars gravity, that's still working? Yeah. Bring this up. And then we have Two-Face times 3, which was another reroll. I'm having not so much good luck with the rerolls. That's bad. Okay. Rover doesn't know how to use doors. And this is a reroll. I hope this one works. Rover's eyes are dry. Yeah, that one still works. Just makes me feel uncomfortable. And with that, we will keep corrupting. We change our starting address to be a smaller address. This, yep, is in crash territory because we are crashing off the bat. Oh, that last one's interesting. Let's pull that up. This is like 2 times Two-Face. Let's keep that one. Open the blast editor. Let's see if we'll have the corruptions. And again, thank God for small intensities because this makes it go so much faster. We might have to roll a lot more, but that's alright with me. Alright, and there we go. We have our singular instruction. We'll throw that in the stash, and we'll call this Two-Face parenthesis times 2. Oh, like that we can keep moving along. There's something about this aesthetic Like, I know this looks like another game with that very blocky look to it, but I can't put a name on it. Like Roblox, it's like Lego, it's like, I want to say Grim Fandango, but not quite that, because that looks actually quite wonderful. Alright, move on. It's gonna be stuck in the back of my head for a while now. Okay, another crash. Roblox a sequel. Yeah, it's a low poly look. Like, do you know what I'm talking about, Wasabi? You might know the game. Yeah, you like that one? You have to see the rest of the stockpile. It's coming along great. Oh, he's like stuck on the floor there. God. Hey, thank you for the host. Appreciate it, Wasabi. Okay, I like this one. This looks like the midnight train. Like, what's that? That sleep train? Ticket to a better night's sleep? I like that. Let's throw this one in the blast editor. Oh, did I do that right? Should be... Yeah, that's the one. And this one takes a couple seconds to see the corruption, but we're using a low intensity, so that's okay. So we can test it a couple times. In this case, we don't see the corruption persist. Thank you, Maybe Before It as well. I appreciate the hosts. Always appreciate it. Although it's fairly immediate. Yeah, it is immediate. Okay, so we don't have to wait too long. We can quickly run through this. Okay, there we go. Have our singular instruction. I can send to our stash. We'll call this Sleep Train. And in parentheses, ticket to a better night's sleep. And we're gonna try re-rolling that. I've had some interesting results with re-rolls where it hasn't been jamming over properly, but we'll give it a go. Yeah, most of the same effects, so we don't have to worry about anything there for the most part. However, let's make some more corruptions. We had immediate crash, that's alright. We are in crash territory. We are corrupting the starting address, like fairly close to very beginning of the game, so we could be messing with some key components. But it is where we get some very interesting results, so I'm okay with it. I'll keep going along here, hopefully we get something out of this. I'm gonna get some auditory ones. If anyone is susceptible to epilepsy, or if they cannot watch flashing lights or loud sounds, beware of the stream. I do have flashing lights and sounds all throughout the stream. Got another Twilight train one going on here. What's going on there? It's like the side of the train? Oh yeah, look! Yeah, sure, I want to see where he sits. That's right. He can sit next to me. What in the world? Why do you light up? Okay, I'm not gonna throw this in the stockpile, but I want to reroll it to see if we get something else like this. Not much the same. It just must be a really odd camera angle, and everything else is sort of black. Oh, yeah, this one's another odd one. And it's funny, the player themselves are not actually sitting on a seat. You're just up there in the air. Which makes sense. Why would they need to rent a seat anyways? Oh, this one's really far back. It's like there's an open car in between you and the next one. That's what you're looking at. Alright, we'll move along with some new corruptions here. There's another one where he just kind of creepily moves towards you. I had one earlier, I don't know if you guys saw, but its Rover's eyes are dry. Look at him blink like this. It's so weird. I can never look at Rover the same way again. And that last one, the guy that was sleeping disappeared. I like the woodwork on the top. It kind of looks like just a neat architecture up there. It's like a futuristic game. They talk with what is that? 4, 8, 12, 16 tiles. Oh, I can turn up the volume, but it's probably a little too quiet. Every once in a while, though, one of the ears may get extremely loud. That's one of the corruptions I've run into a couple times, so forewarned of that. Hopefully I'm loud enough that you can still hear me if you lower the game volume a bit. I think the roommate came out of like shimmering and purple. Did it crash though?
Nintendo.
No, just a soft lock. Okay. That's a crash though. Shoot. We're gonna up our starting address a bit, just so we don't crash as often. We are gonna try the latter half, where we're corrupting earlier. We can raise our intensity as well. I think I had one like this. This was... yeah, Mars Gravity. Okay. Where it's just very small. It's like a chibi version of Rover. Oh, another crash, no worries. Load it right back up here. Ooh, running into a lot now, actually. Mess with the variables a little bit more. We'll bring the intensity down a bit.
Nintendo.
Oh, it's not nasty, it's not like someone stepped on a book. Alright, let's re-roll this one. He's just teleports everywhere. Train's going too fast. He slams against the back door. Or no, I guess it breaks too hard. I kinda like that one, only because the beginning's funny. If only he was like stuck against that wall, like he smacked against it. Alright, we'll move on. There's now one of those sleep trains. Dig it. Okay, imagine you're on a train and you just completely casual. There's a guy that kind of looks like a buffalo? I don't know what that sleeping guy is, but then you just see this. A guy with no face walks towards you and asks if you have a second. Oh man. What is the guy in the back right? Frog? This guy has tusks. I don't know. And do more Mario preschool lore by animal name. Okay, this is what I had earlier with the sort of like golden eye, big head. Oh, but it's only temporary. Huh. He shinks and grows, though we'll move on from there. I guess I keep doing these load states. Let me hide that real quick. It should be an interface. Yeah, on-screen messages. Probably could have done that at the beginning, but oh well. Now you get no more annoying flashing text. Ooh, that's not bad. This is just an empty room. Ghost train. Especially bright. Also, that last one had an interesting audio. That doesn't carry on very long, though. Let's try moving our starting address. We'll bring it even a little bit higher. We can up the intensity again. Now that we're leaving crash territory. Oh, this one's super far away. Look at that. You can see just barely, if you look really closely, the like flicker effect on the left window, where it's supposed to look like you're passing by stuff. Looks like a miniature. Oh boy. It sounds like a hamster's on like one of those little wheels that they have and he's just running on it. Yeah, let's keep it. Horror movie. Yeah, it sounds like an awful horror movie. Alright, let's decrease some of this glass layer. And like power tools. There's a lot going on in that one. These are two corruptions in one. There's a sound corruption and a visual corruption. I'm going to try to keep both though. Which means I'm going to have to reroll a couple times until I have both effects selected. Like a construction worker horror movie. Or jackhammer. Okay, we're down to 4. I am sorry for anyone who has to listen to this. We can probably just manually figure out which of these has the ones we're looking for. It's not that one. It's this one, and probably this one. Nope, it's this one and this one. And there we go. We're going to throw that in the stash real quick. And I'm going to pause the emulation so you don't have to listen to that. And we'll throw it on the stockpile and call it construction worker horror movie. Horror at, oh, I like that, horror movie. Alright. And moving along, we will blast target and play the emulation. Blast target again. There we go. This one kind of looks neat. What is this one? It's all pixely. Yeah, it looks like the CRTV. I don't know what you call it, CRTV. The old tube TVs. Static. What are they called? CRTVs? What does CR stand for? Oh, cathode ray tube. Okay. CRT TV. Yeah, there we go. Let's open this in the blast editor and try to get that effect singled out. And these smaller corruptions are heaven for opening them up in the blast editor and sanitizing them. It's just not that much I have to shift through, which is great. Okay, there we go. For a single instruction, put it to the stash, from the stash, throw it on the stockpile, and call it TRT Animal Crossing. Yeah, that like very perturbing static noise. Okay, there we go. And let me try re-rolling that corruption. Let's see. Get the creepy cat face again. Lots of visuals. Oh, does he just have one eye? His face is so stretched out. Let's call it, we can throw this on the stockpile. Let's call it Rover the Cyclops. Probably spelled Cyclops right. And I want to verify that that still works when I load it. Yep, good to go. He kind of looks like Cyclops, like his other eye is there, it's just he has to turn to see it. Most of the time we're not going to see it, so we'll move on. Actually, let's re-roll a little bit more. Let's see if anything else comes out of that. Rover, no! Well, this one's like the opposite of Cyclops. It's like you have two eyes, but they're so far apart from each other, it's like a snake eye. Now, what animal has like eyes on the side of its face, not on the front? I think snakes. No, they have it on the front. No, who would know? How good would know? He's a reptile guy. Let's try rolling a little bit more. Alright, not too much coming out of that. Oh, not that last one. Faces keep getting smaller and smaller. This one makes me feel sick. We don't have a really good one of these, so let's throw this on the stockpile too. Okay, what animal, when you cut off its head, grows two heads in its place? That's like the dog Cerberus. Is it Cerberus who does that? Cut off head to grow back. Hydra. That's what I'm thinking of. Rover the Hydra. I want to verify all three of these are working properly. They are. Perfect. Alright, we're going to do some more corruptions. Some new corruptions. Some fresh ones. Oh, there's that low poly one again. It's gonna bug me all night about what that game is. I'm thinking Roblox. That's what it must be reminding me of. Oh, listen. One. Let me see if we can get Rover back to his original state. Pool's kind of neat, but I don't really want to see Rover on a pool. I just want to see Rover and upside down Rover. Let's see if we can single that out. I want that. But the other half. I'm hoping these two corruptions aren't tied together. The upside down and the Rover pool. Oh, there we go. Perfect, that's what I want. Rover back in its original state. Okay, and there we go. We have our single instruction once again. upgrading our effects, send it to the stash, and upside down world. What's an upside down world? There's one in... oh, what's the name of that show? It's like based around a 70s theme. Has kids in it. Oh man. Let's look up upside down world, because I can't think of any. Stranger Things, that's what I'm thinking of. Stranger Things, upside down world. Is there a name for that? The upside down? Shoot, I was hoping there was a better name for it. I'll call it. Also, did Rover mess up? Didn't see that. Wait. Call it Animal Crossing in China? Is China... yeah, that's it. Okay, that works for me. Put it on the stockpile. Animal Crossing in China. I guess we can also say Australia. I don't know what is specifically across the world from where I am. I think it's Japan. I don't know. Anyways, we'll move on. Let's try re-rolling that last one though. I'm not expecting too many other results, but yeah, mostly just upside down. Alright. Roll some new ones. Oh, there's that one again. Something about him blinking, not moving his legs. God. Alright, try upping the intensity. Oh, try moving around the starting address some more. And I'm in what I'd call uncharted territory because I don't know what's in this midport of this range. I know somewhere around in the middle there's going to be auditory corruptions and music and stuff like that. But in terms of the memory domain, I'm not exactly sure what we're moving into, so we could get some unexpected results. However, I may need to up the intensity as a sanity check to see if anything happens. I'm going to do exactly that. Starting address more towards the middle. And with this larger intensity and later down in starting address, we're going to have longer times in between each corruption. So that gives us a little more time to appreciate each individual one. I kind of like that last one. What it changed. Or maybe it did. Alright, let's move the starting address straight to the middle here. Or just before the middle, I should say. And we're not seeing any more visuals, so we might be outside the range of the models and sprites and all that. I'm hoping to start hearing some audio corruptions though. That's what I'm aiming for around this range. Could also be that we're corrupting base game in this latter half. Intro cinematic could be the only thing that's stored in the beginning half. I'm getting into it because I'm not seeing anything and I'm not hearing anything. It is the entire game, so I feel like maybe I store them differently. I'm not entirely sure. Unhandled exception? Come on, Neri. Okay, let's go back to interest. Right back to the starting range. A little bit offset. Much smaller intensity. Actually, let's go way to the beginning. Like 1,000. The small intensity of like 10,000. Intensity actually might be too small. Let's do 100,000. Yeah. We are in crash range, so we are crashing once again. Alright. I am playing with the devil. I'll bring it. We'll bring the starting address up a bit. Reason to crash for no reason. We're not getting too many results from there. Sleep train. You begin to see a lot of the same ones over and over again, which is understandable when you're on the same range, but unfortunately this is where most of the luck we've had has been. Crash. I'm going to try just for a moment switching from the vector engine to the nightmare engine. I know usually it's going to crash a little bit more, but I'm curious about the results. Oh, that didn't actually even load. Try again. No crash. Alright, we're not going to mess with the nightmare engine. That's much more crash heavy. Vector engine, not so much, because that has a values that it know it cannot overwrite. To put it simply. Let's raise the starting address some more, and the intensity some more as well. So we have the CRT Animal Crossing with the Upside Down. Nice little combination corruption there. Okay, we got something here. Let's try. Let's try rerolling this. Another thing this reminds me of is I did these right at the beginning of when I first started streaming. I did these like low tech, low poly runs where I try to make like Fallout run at its bare minimum, Skyrim run at its bare minimum. This kind of reminds me of that. It's like scratchy texture, extremely minimal. Oh, his head is like twitching. I think it wants me to kill it. The door looks like one of those glass bead doors. The 70s on the Animal Crossing. Oh wait, let's go back to this one. Does he keep sliding? No, he only stays. What is that, the ones? Alright, we'll get some fresh ones. Nice. Oh, you want? This one does too. Was it just me, or did he start like sprinting at me at the last moment? That's one I'd like. One where it just... No, that's not... I'm sorry. Rover just sprints at the camera. It's right up in the player's face. What's the warthog doing? Warthog? I don't know what that animal is. I think it's a warthog. I feel bad, I don't know. Nope. I don't like it. Oh, no audio. Wait, did he just run backwards? You're joking. He recognizes you, and then phases through the door. That's like me whenever I recognize anyone in public. Oh, hey! Literally turn into liquid and phase through the door. I like this one. We are going to try to bring audio back, though, because it's weird without the audio. So we're going to stand at as corruption and hopefully bring that audio back. We do have to wait for him to recognize us every time to see if the corruption worked. And I hope those two aren't hand in hand. There we go. Perfect. Auditory. The music is back. And he still faces through the wall. Oh, shoot. Did I do this incorrectly? He should be phasing this one. Okay, good. Yeah, multi-corruption here. There we go. Okay, perfect. We have our one memory right, so we'll throw it on the stash. And I need to know how to spell recognize, because I don't know how to spell recognize. Because that Z always throws me off. Alright, there we go. We'll throw that onto the stockpile and say, Can you recognize someone in public? To metal case. There we go. You recognize someone in public. Here's what I do when I recognize people in public. Alright, we'll do some new corruptions here. We'll get Batman again. That's gonna be a loud one. Let's stop that right away. Okay, I like both of these. I missed that last one. I want to hear that. That walking sound again. Kind of neat. I like the. Another name for like spirit. Let's see. Rhymes with rover is the question. Ethos of rover. Ethos is the right. Nah, that's not the right word. Characteristic of the spirit of the culture, era, or community. Animal Crossing ethos? That might work. Sea ethos? Yeah. That sort of works. Enough to put it on the stockpile. An odd, like, swashing sound. But we're gonna take that out. Those are two separate corruptions. There we go. Maybe I'm thinking of ethereal. Yeah, sounds more like it. Let me look up ethereal. No, I think that's not the right word. But I don't have a large vocabulary. Alright, there we go. Throw that on stockpile. Stash, I should say. It's a. And for the stash, throw it on the stockpile. We'll call it. Yeah, I kind of like the Animal Crossing ethos. Seeing ethos. The only thing I'm a little sad about is you can't even talk to the guy, so it ends here, but it works. We got a lot of the stockpile, so I'm happy regardless. Had a nice music one. Let's hear that again. Oh, and a couple back, we also had a nice like walking sound. Just, yeah, this was the one. I'm so sorry. I want to listen to this music. Kinda sounds neat. It's nothing like our like Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance corruptions. The music for those ones are just beautiful. That's gonna be hard to replicate on Gamecube, but still pretty. Oh, we haven't tried any rerolls. Let's do some rerolls here with with the ethos. Yeah, disturbing ethos. Much of the same though. We'll do the recognize people in public one. Alright. Not much. Alright, I'm going to take a real quick fiber. I just want to grab a drink of water. We'll just doing a little scratching. But let me grab some music for y'all. Pause this here for a sec. What are we feeling tonight? Oh, I know what we're feeling tonight. I don't know if anyone saw this release. Lethal League Blaze came out. But I still love that original Lethal League soundtrack. So I'll be back in like 3 to 5 minutes. We'll kick it off with some more Animal Crossing. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. Thank you for waiting. Again, that's the Lethal League soundtrack. Oh, we're only 2 minutes in. I wasn't even gone that long. Never mind. Anyways, highly recommend it. Either Blaze or the original, both fantastic games. But we'll cut that. And swap back to Animal Crossing. And we'll get some more options. And to keep it fresh, since we're starting on quote-unquote a new beginning in the stream, well, unless of the starting address somewhere. Let's go back to the beginning range. Not crash heavy, but towards the beginning. I want to see something. I want to see some messed up stuff like that. That's exactly what I want to see. Rover creepily staring at me through the window with weird music and his eye tweaking out. That's quality content. Let's throw that on the stockpile. We'll open the Blast Editor first and do a little bit of editing here. So there are 3 corruptions here that I want to try to preserve, which could put a lot of work out for us, but we'll try it. I want this music corruption, I want his eye corruption, and I want him behind that door. Like, this is what we want. So using a trackpad for this. I'll use a trackpad for this. If I can put that word of advice out there for anyone. Shoot, did I get rid of the music? I did. Oh, I really want to keep the music. Did I don't think I messed it up beyond repair, did I? Oh, silly me. For anyone wondering, what can you see? You can see a couple of my files there, so you don't have to worry. My background's a Dwarf Fortress background, so if you see like Die and Goblin, so that makes a little bit sense. For some reason, when you open a couple of the windows in Windows Glitch Harvester, it does that sort of weird, like the background doesn't come in all the way. I can't describe it too well. Anyways, it looks like that. But then just reloading it seems to fix everything. And cool, we can mess with this. So I want to hear that audio corruption. Gotta make sure I hear that this time around before I delete stuff. I'm noticing that even though he's not behind the door, I'm re-rolling because I hear the audio corruption. I want to make sure I hear neither of those. Let me phrase that right. Wait a minute, I'm sorry? Ooh. Oh. Oh, real-time corrupter. Let me just verify. So we lost our stockpile. This time we actually lost it. Which happens. It happens here and there. Shoot. So what caused that was, what did I actually hit? I didn't blast target. I had the vector up. I was in the blast editor. Let me do this real quick. I want to bring up the steps again so that you can see what I did in order to achieve that, so no one else has to run into that awful problem. I'm going to write a bug report, that's what I'm going to do. Because I swear it happens too often. So D6 selected, Bird Dolphin. Shoot. I had a good stockpile this time around. That is unfortunate to say the least. Also, unable to blast target. Why is that the case? Well, anyway, I was going to call it here anyways. So we're going to call it here for the time being. Normally at the end of the stream I'd like to do a rundown of the stockpile. Unfortunately, we don't have anything available. I did one... what was the timestamp on that? At 10, I think, my time. So that'd be about an hour back for half of the corruptions, and then from there you gotta rush the rest of the stream. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It was an unhandled exception from the Windows Glitch Harvester, which I don't have any control over. It was when I wish I could blast this target so I could show. Oh, there we go. Okay. I just wanted to open this. So, what was it? Execute. I forget what exactly it was. I think it was sending it to the stash, made an exception happen. And if you have an exception that you quit out of, it will automatically close down the program that's being targeted from. So since this blast editor is an instance of the Glitch Harvester, the Glitch Harvester was forced to close, and it doesn't have an emergency save feature like the BizHawk Glitch Harvester. That's why the BizHawk Glitch Harvester, all hail that wonderful piece of programming. And the Windows Glitch Harvester is, it still feels like it's a beta, to be honest. Anyways, let's go back to some music, because I was only here for another couple of minutes. Thank you for everyone who stopped by. Thank you everyone for the hosts. I always appreciate that. And it's always great to see some new people. Feel free to say hello. I love talking to people. Keeps the corruptions interesting for sure. And maybe you can scream if you notice me doing something incorrect. Let's pick... I'm trying to pick a song here. We'll do this. Oh, I saw Animal Crossing playing. Anyways, GameCube corruptions, in a word, are hard. Very hard. So they take a little while getting used to, and I'm still learning. This is literally my second time opening the program, and I thought I had things down, but hey, every once in a while you run into trouble. But next time, I think we'll do a little bit better. And for that reason, I'm not going to move on to, I was planning on doing Sunshine. I'm not going to do that quite yet, because when I have the Sunshine stream, and I was going to say it with the Animal Crossing stream, is I want those to be good streams where I have good stockpiles, and I can upload those ones. Unfortunately, I can't upload this one. I may go back and try to make some more corruptions, but I might have to do that on the stream. So no Sunshine quite yet. I might try the GameCube corrupting the BIOS, or like the startup screen. Startup screen where it like does the GameCube loading symbol. I might try that. We'll see. I'll play around with stuff. And if anyone ever has any suggestions, feel free to leave them, either on YouTube, send me a message on Twitch. I'll get to you anyway. And yeah, we'll find someone to host here real quick. Probably, let's see if anyone's doing some Dwarf Fortress. That's what I'm feeling like watching right now. The Dwarf Fortress or Retro. There's one guy who has this amazing bot setup. I did not believe it. It's an entire AI that plays Dwarf Fortress while he's offline. Let's see, there's a couple people online. There's the AI guy. His name is, let's see, Seyeddaed. Any dude, regardless. By the way, unfortunately, not too many people do in Dwarf Fortress. Let's do some retro. We can get a speedrunner in here. I love the soundtrack. Nothing quite like browsing. I wish I should be showing Twitch as I browse it, but I'm not going to. I apologize, this is taking a little while. Getting specific with who I want to choose. Alright, here's one out. Alright, and thank you everyone for watching, and have a very nice.
Thank you.
Thanks for the host, TechSupportSparky. Remember to call you Sparky next time we need a tech support issue. Yeah, these random streams. Yeah, and like I said, for this month the schedule is kind of like all over the place.
Wednesdays Wednesdays aren't necessarily awful. We've done them before.
We thought about adding
few
Wednesday
times.
back.
Well, I feel like it was one of our starting ones, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was one of our starting ones. So
Wow.
maybe they'll return. Who knows? Or we're messing up serial schedule.